Japan's Great Gamble: How Sanae Takaichi's Landslide Redefined Power, Prosperity, and Risk. By any historical standard, the victory was excessive. By any economic logic, it was dangerous. By any political measure, it was transformative. The landslide that carried Sanae Takaichi and her Liberal Democratic Party, LDP, to their largest parliamentary majority in 3 decades marks one of the most consequential moments in post-war Japanese politics. It is a victory that promises speed, certainty, and confidence. It also carries the seeds of excess, complacency, and systemic risk. Japan, long defined by caution, incrementalism, and bureaucratic restraint, has chosen decisiveness. Whether it has been chosen wisely remains an open question. The return of one-party dominance, with 316 of 465 seats in the House of Representatives and a compliant coalition partner, Takaichi's government now commands a supermajority. In practical terms, this means, legislative paralysis is over, opposition vetoes are irrelevant, constitutional debate is no longer hypothetical. Japan has quietly returned to what it once knew best, near-hegemonic rule by a single political machine, the post-war 1955 system, under which the LDP dominated for decades, never fully disappeared. It merely slept. Now it has awakened, leaner, more centralized, and more ideological. Takaichi's triumph is less a rejection of alternatives than a confession of fatigue. Voters did not so much embrace her vision as abandon hope that anyone else could govern. Stability, even at the cost of pluralism, has once again become Japan's preferred currency. Markets and the mirage of certainty. The reaction of investors was immediate and euphoric. The Nikkei 225 surged past 57,000. Topics followed. Billions of dollars flowed into Japanese equities. This was not optimism about productivity or innovation. It was a relief that policy will be predictable, stimulus will be generous, political risk will be minimal. Markets love certainty, even when certainty is expensive. Takaichi offered exactly what traders crave: a government willing to spend. Cut taxes, weaken fiscal taboos, and ignore orthodox warnings. In an era of global slowdown, Japan looked suddenly expansionist. The rally was not a vote of confidence in Japan's future. It was a bet on its willingness to borrow from it. Beyond Abenomics, the era of fiscal assertiveness, Takaichi's economic program is often described as post-Abenomics. It is Abenomics without inhibition. Where Shinzo Abe hesitated, she accelerated. When he compromised, she confronted. Her platform rests on 4 pillars: 1. Large-scale fiscal stimulus, 2. Aggressive tax reductions, 3. Strategic industrial policy, 4. Tolerance for inflation. This is not neoliberalism. It is state capitalism with nationalist undertones. The aim is clear: revive growth through demand, protect domestic industry, and restore confidence in Japan's economic relevance. It is also a repudiation of Western-style austerity. Japan, she argues, cannot save itself into prosperity, the debt mountain nobody wants to climb, yet behind optimism lies an arithmetic problem that refuses to disappear. Japan's public debt exceeds 260% of GDP, the highest in the developed world. Servicing it has been manageable only because interest rates were near zero. That era is ending. As Reuters has noted, Takaichi's pledge to suspend food taxes and expand social spending unnerves bond investors. The contradiction is stark: to grow, Japan must spend; to remain solvent, it must restrain itself. It cannot do both indefinitely. So far, Japan has survived on domestic savings, loyal institutions, and central bank accommodation. But demography is eroding all three. An aging population saves less. Pension obligations rise. Fiscal credibility weakens. The current boom may therefore be calm before a debt reckoning, political centralization, and the end of consensus. Japan's traditional governance model prized consensus. Ministries negotiated. Factions bargained. Leaders moderated. Takaichi represents a rupture. She is ideological, confrontational, and personalistic. Power is concentrating around the Prime Minister's office. Policy is becoming executive-driven. This shift brings efficiency. It also removes buffers, mistakes, once diluted by committees, now fall directly on the leadership. Institutional humility is being replaced by political confidence. History suggests that systems built on overconfidence tend to fail dramatically rather than gracefully. Nationalism, security, and the normal nation dream, economics is only half the story. The other half is security. Takaichi belongs to the generation of conservatives who believe Japan's post-war pacifism has outlived its usefulness. Her agenda includes military spending near 2% of GDP, long-range strike capability, constitutional reinterpretation. Defense industrial expansion. This is the normal nation project, transforming Japan from a restrained power into a fully sovereign strategic actor. The logic is understandable. China is rising. North Korea is unstable. America is unreliable, dependence is no longer affordable, but normalization carries risks, regional memory is long. Asian neighbors remain sensitive to Japanese militarization. Every missile deployment echoes historical anxieties. Security autonomy may strengthen deterrence. It may also accelerate arms races. Japan in the new geopolitics. Takaichi's victory reverberates far beyond Tokyo. For the United States, it reinforces Japan as the cornerstone of Indo-Pacific strategy. Washington welcomes a stronger, more assertive ally. For China, it signals consolidation of containment. Economic interdependence will increasingly coexist with strategic hostility. For ASEAN, it complicates neutrality. Japanese activism forces regional states to recalibrate. For Europe, it offers a partner willing to defend rules-based order. At a time when Europe itself is wavering, Japan is no longer content to be a quiet stakeholder. It is positioning itself as a rulemaker, social contract under strain. Domestically, Takaichi's gambling rests on a fragile social bargain. She promises higher wages, stable prices, secure employment, generous public services. To deliver all four in an aging, shrinking economy is close to impossible. If inflation rises faster than incomes, popular support will erode. If taxes rise later to pay for today's generosity, resentment will follow. For now, voters have chosen hope over realism. They may not remain so patient. Democracy without alternation. The most overlooked consequence of the landslide is its impact on democratic vitality. Opposition parties are fragmented, underfunded, and marginalized. Media scrutiny is cautious. Bureaucracy is compliant. Japan risks drifting toward what political scientists call competitive authoritarianism light, elections without meaningful alternation. The danger is not dictatorship. It is stagnating. Without pressure, dominant parties decay. Patronage grows. Reform stalls. The LDP has been here before, a high-stakes experiment. Takaichi's Japan is an experiment in managed risk. It assumes that growth will outrun debt, confidence will outweigh caution, power will not corrupt, institutions will restrain ambition. History suggests these assumptions rarely hold simultaneously, yet the alternative, continued drift, slow decline, and strategic irrelevance, was equally unattractive. Japan has chosen action over inertia. Conclusion: power, prosperity, and precariousness. Sanae Takaichi's landslide is not merely a political triumph. It is a national wager. A wager that fiscal expansion can revive a mature economy, centralized leadership can outperform consensus, militarization can coexist with regional trust, dominance can coexist with democracy. If she succeeds, Japan may re-emerge as the most dynamic advanced economy of the 2030s. If she fails, the country risks a decade of debt crises, political disillusionment, and strategic overreach. For now, markets applaud. Voters acquiesce. Allies approve, but power, once concentrated, is rarely benign for long. Japan has placed extraordinary authority in one leader's hands. The bill, financial, political, and historical, has yet to be paid.